Hey guys, my name is Kelton and this is Obsessed Reviews. Today I'm with the 2024 Chevy Trailblazer. The Chevy Trailblazer, the original one, was an iconic, well-known vehicle, known for its off-road kind of vibes and just for being a nice family SUV. It was part of those first body-on-frame vehicles that Chevy produced that kind of made them iconic in America. However, that model was discontinued, and eventually, back in 2021, this was what they revived it as, a subcompact SUV. The transition from body-on-frame SUV to subcompact SUV was a rocky one for Chevrolet. Despite that, this model has sold well in the United States. Today I have the Activ Trim, which is right below the RS. The RS and the Activ Trim are basically the same thing, just with different styling points. Both of them you can get with all the top features for the Trailblazer, but this is more off-road focused or trail focused. Now this is post-refresh, so we have an updated fascia, which includes these updated headlights. Before, they were the turn signals were behind the DRLs. Now they've been integrated to give a more slim and sharp look. So you'll see that it's definitely kind of shaped the front end to just be more sharp and more direct with its design. And it's definitely a good evolution of the design. They didn't do too much. They did exactly kind of what they needed to do with the fascia. And of course, you see we have the split headlight design, which is very trendy these days. And I like that Chevy is one of the only brands that continues to offer silver or at least dark chrome on the fascia of their vehicles and on the trim on the rest of the vehicle. I feel like axing it out completely just kind of takes away an element of design that we still need in vehicles today. Now, moving to the side profile, I really like these wheels, but they're they're not that special, but they are a nice design. I like the wheels that come on the RS, those 19s, much better. They have a more polarizing look. This is kind of just more trail focused, like we talked about. As you can see, we have the two-tone roof and color option, which is white, and do have mosaic black metallic. And weirdly enough, I usually like two-tone roofs. I think it's a unique look, but this really isn't doing much for me. I feel like maybe it's because I know the person who owns this vehicle, so I see it a lot, and I honestly forget about it a lot. I feel like, when you do a two-tone roof, you're supposed to execute the floating roof design as well as you can to really make it pop, and I just don't think that's what's been done here. It's still cool that they offer it nonetheless. And moving to the back, you can see they have fully upgraded the tail lights to be fully LED now, which is very commendable, and keeping the car updated with the times. I think it looks really nice. I like this design a lot better than pre-refresh. And other than that, there's not really much to talk about back here. I think this entire vehicle has a nice design, and I feel like it's something anybody could like. Alright, so hopping into the Chevy Trailblazer, as you can see, we have a really nice interior. I really like what they've done here. As you can see, we have some yellow stitching as well as some cloth inserts in the faux leather seats, and I just think this is a really nice look, especially with the new screen design in here. Before, it had an 8-inch screen that just kind of set right here. Now you have a 10.25-inch screen and an 8-inch screen in the dash. Now let's go ahead and start it up. And as you can see, they power on. And yeah, this new dash design is really nice. I love what they've done here. Now, let's get into this screen, because this is my main gripe with the vehicle. The screen is really nice looking, and the way this orientation is really nice looking. But I would be on the way to rank this as one of GM's worst infotainment UIs ever. The system forces you, basically, if you have an iPhone, to rely on Apple CarPlay. You can't really make calls through their system and text messages and stuff like that. It forces you to rely on Apple CarPlay, and that doesn't even work all the time. What happens is this system will glitch out on the regular, and you can't connect Apple CarPlay, you can't get regular Bluetooth to work. You'll sit there for 30 minutes trying, and it's just not wanting to work with you. It's really frustrating, and then you finally decide to give up and just try and restart the system by turning the car off and exiting and then coming back. You can't even do that because this screen stays on in the background for a few minutes at least before it resets, so you can't even reset it. and it's just a really frustrating system to work with. I know GM, we've had many GM vehicles in my family, and I know that they have better infotainments than this in vehicles that are at least a decade old. So this is really disappointing from a brand that is so established. And then moving to the gauge cluster. The gauge cluster is only configurable through this screen. You have to go through this screen to configure it at all in any way. You have to go to settings, and then you have to press add to dash, and it's just a really convoluted way of working out this UI, working out this whole system here. I do not like the way they've done this. I think a lot of companies right now are trading utility and trading usability for looks and flashy screens. We have a 20-inch screen in our car, yay, but it doesn't work, and it's really frustrating. If you're not going to make a UI that can make the experience of having a big screen pleasurable, then we don't need it. But yeah, like I said, materials and fit and finish in this vehicle are actually pretty good. We have some gloss black down here, this is a vehicle owned by somebody that I know, and it's already scratched up and it just doesn't look good. But other than that, they've implemented some really nice materials, and for a $30,000 car, which is cheap in today's world, if you believe that, I think they've done a good job. Now, one thing I will say is that in a $30,000 vehicle, we should have dual climate control. We have heated seats, but not dual climate control. I don't understand how that makes sense, but they can do what they want. Alright, now moving into the back seat, this has some nice, very much respectable legroom. For reference, I'm about 5'7", 5'8", and I'm, of course, very comfortable back here, and this is adjusted to my driving position. And then it's kind of disappointing to see not all the materials carry on into the back. Before, you had gloss black in the front seat and kind of this gold material, or I don't know what to call it, but kind of bronze material, and it just does not carry on back here. It's completely black plastic, which is disappointing. But other than that, if you have some small kids or anything, they'll be comfortable back here. We have 29.3 cubic feet of space back here, which is very reasonable, especially for such a small package. All right, let's take it for a drive. All right, so driving the Trailblazer. I've driven this car a handful of times now, and I think it's a really just an easy car to drive. It's definitely meant for the people that are going to drive it. The turning is super light. I mean, extremely light. And the brakes on this thing, we've had it for a few months now, and they still continue to be amazing. I literally, when I first got in here a few minutes ago and braked, I slammed on the brakes without even trying, because you have to feather them so much. Maybe that's just me driving an old car, though, I don't know. And going around this corner, yeah, there's not much feeling in the turn in. It just turns. And it's just super light. Now, ride quality, I would say it's pretty good. This has 17-inch rims, I'm pretty sure, wheels, and that definitely contributes to the ride quality, which is just, above average, I'd say. And then sound and noise cancellation in the cabin. I would say this is about average. Like, it's nothing special, but it doesn't let too much noise in the cabin. I'm satisfied with it. This is a very pleasant car to live with that I think a lot of people will enjoy. It's just, for me, the reason I would never get this is purely because of the infotainment system, like we talked about. And back on the conversation of technology in this car, the sound system. The sound system in this car is horrid. I mean, it's just so baseless and so lost. I mean, it sounds messy, and there's not a lot of bass, and there's not a lot of clarity, and it just feels like they didn't care about it, to be honest. Same thing with the infotainment system. When it comes to the tech in this car, it feels like there was a lack of care, and that's what gets me with this car. There was a pure lack of care, and I'd like to see more care from GM. That's it. Okay, I just made it back from the drive, and this is my third time trying to record this clip, but all I was going to say was acceleration is pretty, you know, good for this type of vehicle. It's nothing special, but it's also exactly what you need. It's substantial and not disappointing in any way. We did a 0 to 60, but it's gone now. My phone lost it. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for this video. So I think that Chevy has made a really pleasant vehicle. I think that they've made it so that this covers a lot of bases. As I told you guys, this has been selling really well. I think it's a pleasant choice for the segment, and obviously other people do too. I think that this would be good for young adults, people coming straight out of college or straight out of high school, or people even still in high school for first cars. This is just a car that a lot of people can love. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Do you like the Trailblazer and would you get one? And also, did you like the post-refresh better or the pre-refresh better? Personally, I like this version better than the last generation, but I bet the last generation had a better infotainment system, so kind of trade for trade there. Anyways, y'all have a good one. Let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe and leave a like. Bye.